All right, Daredevil, Born Again. I'm gonna do a review for episodes 4 through 6. Yeah, yeah, 4 through 6. I've been lacking behind on it because personally I don't care and I got too much going on to give a shit. So, spoilers from here on, I guess, and yeah, tread, watch at your own risk. Um, we have episode 4 where I already can't remember most of it, but Wilson Fisk was getting ready for a boxing match, and I believe he goes up against. No, he doesn't go up against Carl Crusher Crow. Never mind. Um, that was the episode where Bullseye. That was a good episode for Bullseye. Bullseye was great in that episode where he kills all the ICE agents or whatever in the diner. I thought that was pretty cool. So there's some positive things about these last 3 episodes. They certainly feel like they match the vibe of the original Netflix show. The problem is, right, is that a lot of it is key jangling. A lot of it is, getting people back with the member berries and the Easter eggs and all that. And I'm just not as convinced as other people are, especially when it comes to people who are saying this is better than the Netflix show or it's just as good. Well, there's not enough data, to prove that this is actually better than the Netflix show, especially since there's not as many people watching it. This is a ratings failure. You just have to trust the word of mouth from people who have seen it, and most of them are unreliable because they're a bunch of Disney shows. But I digress. The show is actually like it. Seeing this compared to like The Boys, this is still far better than The Boys. Just by comparison, it's more enjoyable. There's still characters to root for. I think, particularly Matt Murdock and in a way Wilson Fisk. But it's bogged down by characters you don't care about, like James Gandolfini's son, BB Urick. Buck Cashman is actually a really interesting character, and I'd like to see more of what Buck Cashman his deal is. Um, Female Chihuahua White Tiger is so uninteresting and boring. I don't give a shit about her. I just wish that they just recast White Tiger, the original male Hector Ayala. Um, then you have Kirsten McDuffie. I finally had her name right. Kirsten McDuffie, who I don't give a fuck about. Her character is nothing to me. Heather Glenn's character is like she's doing a female muse thing. We're still doing that, and she chokes Buck Cashman for some reason in this recent episode, going 50 Shades of Grey on us. I don't get it. I just fucking pull the trigger, make her female muse, and get rid of her. They've completely destroyed Karen Page and made her a grunting. She sounds like it's ma'am. That's what she sounds like now. They've completely ruined Karen Page, in my opinion. She used to be stronger in a sense that she was the composure for the group of Nelson, Murdoch, and Page. But now they're just like, hey, we have to have her boxing and ready to take on ICE agents so that she can do her girl boss moment because this is Disney Marvel after all. In episode 5, there's well, it's mostly flashbacks, and it's meant to get people like these member berries and play these key jangling games to make you think that the show's good. And it almost fooled me a couple times. I was like, oh, are we on a redemption arc? Not really, because the plot doesn't exactly move forward. We do a flashback for Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock before season 1, or at least simultaneously with season 1. We even see Wesley, I want to say Blake Wesley, but that's not his name. That's a wrestler. Wesley Blake is a wrestler. But his name is Wesley. He was the henchman, the right hand man of Kingpin in season 1. But we saw him hiring Buck Cashman to take out one of Nelson and Murdoch's clients, and that was an interesting story. But it doesn't move the story forward for our characters in the present, even though it's in the flat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the story doesn't exactly move forward, and It's interesting for the themes, but the themes have to match with the story. And the only thing that I could say that matched between the flashback and the current time was that it was a theme about mercy. It was a theme that, quite honestly, Matt should have known at that time, I think. But I digress. It was good to see Eldon Henson as Foggy Nelson again in the flashback. Showing most mercy to a client who he used to know when he was a kid, and Matt was even questioning, like, you know, should we let this guy back out on the streets because he's a dangerous criminal? And Foggy's like, you got to show some mercy. He tries to pull the Catholic guilt thing on him. Finally, and Daredevil Born Again, we are in season 2, and finally we're addressing the fact that Matt Murdock is a Catholic. I mean, for 4 seconds or something. We're addressing him for, we're in a church for a little bit. And it's about, there's a story arc between Daredevil and Bullseye where Daredevil or Bullseye wants to sacrifice himself, and he wants to be a martyr, or not a martyr, but he wants to pay for his sins by taking the bullet, basically. And Daredevil says he doesn't want to let him do that because he almost killed Bullseye, and it's about showing mercy. And so it was about essentially Daredevil trying to find a way to forgive Bullseye. And this is after Bullseye was attempting to go after the Kingpin at his boxing match, which, of course, Kingpin beat the fuck out of his opponent in episode 4. And, of course, you have people like the assistant, I want to say the assistant mayor or something, I don't know. Her and BB Urich were, like, at a boxing match, like clutching their pearls at a boxing match. It's like, oh, you're really surprised you came to a boxing match to see violence? It's like, fucking stupid. What do you think was going to happen? But Kingpin did beat the fuck out of that guy. And then Bullseye barges in and he throws something, it ricochets and hits Vanessa right in her temple, even though she wasn't supposed to be there per Kingpin's orders. And she's bleeding out from her head. But then episode 5, it's like a bunch of flashbacks. She's sitting there having dementia on the surgery table. She's, they drag out Vanessa's death for 3 episodes. She gets hit in the temple in episode 4. She's on the surgical table, on the hospital bed, in episode 5, about as mentally deteriorating as I am in this video right now. It's really early in the morning. So, and then episode 6, she dies. It's like, bro, we wasted a whole episode of flashbacks and cameos to get to this point. And so, the flashbacks didn't really mean much instead of, to the plot. It was only for thematic purposes. But episodes 4 and 5 were mostly good. I would say that it just reminded you of how good the Netflix series was. And maybe that Disney is regretting killing Foggy so fast. And the reminder of how good the Netflix series was with the reunion of Matt and Foggy in this episode, and seeing old Wesley and younger Kingpin and all that. It just reminded you of how good we used to have it. We were fucking spoiled. And now we have BB Urich and Kirsten McDuffie and Girl Boss Karen Page and Dead Muse and Dead White Tiger and Ice Agents. Swordsman only shows up for 1 episode. It's like, we had it so good, man. We had female White Tiger, and they killed Foggy. We had it so good, and there was, the one thing that was a redeeming quality was that, Benjamin Poindexter, Bullseye was a redeeming character for the most part. Especially that opening scene at the diner was pretty fucking cool. Best scene in the last 3 episodes, mostly. And they just kind of pussified Daredevil. They really did. Between this and She-Hulk, like, they just kind of pussified him. And they're like, I get the perspective that they're trying to have with him. The Catholic guilt, finally they're addressing it. Karen Page wants to kill Bullseye, but Daredevil wants to save him. But he won't stand up to Karen. Karen's all, we gotta kill Bullseye! And then Daredevil's like, we don't have to kill Bullseye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking played out. This is Disney, Marvel. They do that stuff. It's intersectional cross dressing with characters. Um, I want to say, oh yeah, we had a uh, James Gandolfini's son was looking for a leak because somebody was leaking a bunch of information about Fisk's administration. Buck is like, find the leak by telling BB Yurick some lies. BB Yurick doesn't spread them, and then a bunch of ICE agents show up. People are protesting Vanessa Fisk's death. Episode 6 just goes right back into the fucking allegory of it all. It's all Vanessa Fisk is dead, so we hold a funeral, and then we have all of the pro vigilante people show up with signs. Don't mourn her, mourn all the people that are in cages right now. You mean all the people that were freed a couple episodes ago, you fucking dickheads. Of course, then we have the anti-vigilante ICE agents going after the not Antifa Disney shills. And the whole fight breaks out, and it's just so played out and so boring. Karen Page sets up a projector with a bunch of testimonies from all the people to try and expose Fisk. And then Daredevil confronts Fisk. They have a fight, but it literally goes nowhere. And at the end of the fight, Kingpin even says that. He's like, you can't arrest me because I'm mayor, and you're not going to kill me because you're a pussy, basically. And so Daredevil just kicks his ass and walks away, but Kingpin's still alive. So the fight essentially means nothing. And the trying to loop this into, trying to make it about the war between Daredevil and Kingpin over the last, if you include the Netflix series, 4 seasons, and then trying to loop that into some political message about resist and rebel, as if, that like what he's doing is like the worst thing in the world. Like it's an allegory for Donald Trump or whatever. I don't know what these fucking people think. The two things don't match, because if we're talking about people who support vigilantes, and I mean, if you're talking about vigilantism as an illegal sense, Kingpin would be with the pro-vigilante people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to trigger you in my comments, but Kingpin would be against ICE or whatever, because ICE is deporting criminals, and the anti-vigilante task force would be arresting criminals. So Kingpin would actually be against them. Making him a Trump allegory doesn't work. But seeing that they're doing it so blatant and obvious, it's hard not to address, essentially. So yeah, we had like 2 okay episodes that reminded us of how good the Netflix show was and how good we used to have it. And then we had this last episode, which just brought us right back to reality. More allegory, more characters we don't care about, more assassinating the characters we do care about. And the plot doesn't really move forward that much. And I'm just waiting for the show to end. I'm done with this. I don't care. I don't care anymore. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video very soon.